Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Welcome back to the Syren podcast. We have today,
Wait, is there? Oh no, there's no drum roll.
no, Professor Gonzalez. Woo! How are you feeling on this fine morning, sir?
Oh,
Wait, your microphone.
Oh my gosh. Actually, what about we
okay.
don't put that
Yeah,
on
let's
the
put the
table?
coffee.
We already spilled the coffee.
Yes, 3rd-degree burns.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's freezing cold already. I'm doing okay, except a little clumsy this morning, but you know,
Okay,
it is what it is.
it's good luck.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
Yeah.
a saying, right? Coffee
Yeah.
spilled on the table is good luck.
Or a bird pooping on you. You know?
Oh yeah, exactly.
That meant to Lauren, actually.
No, it was an iguana.
Oh.
Wait, an iguana pooped on you?
I was on the swings. I was volunteering at a camp, and I was on the swings. And there was a tree above me, and like exactly where I swung, that was
It was
traumatizing.
insane luck.
Traumatizing.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't call that luck.
No.
no, everyone told her to like go to the lottery that day. Like,
Yeah. I did
And?
not.
Did
I
you
didn't.
win?
No.
Oh.
Professor Gonzalez, he has his own podcast as well. What is your podcast about, actually?
It's called The Good Life with Professor G.
Mhm.
I have about 8 to 10 episodes, I think,
Yeah.
there. And it's about different topics in psychology.
Yeah.
I interview some folks too. One of them is on the power of music. I have another one on domestic violence.
Yeah.
I have self-esteem. So the purpose and meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Can people change? All topics
That's
like
very
that.
controversial. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that question all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Can people change?
What do you believe?
Absolutely. If I didn't believe that, I wouldn't be
Be a
doing what I do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be a therapist. I mean,
You're a therapist?
yeah, in private practice. I've been doing that for 20 years. I've been at Miami-Dade College since 2010. I did 10 years at Wolfson in downtown. And then I was asked to leave abruptly when COVID hit.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they were like, everyone must abandon the campus immediately. A COVID case has been found in the medical campus. And I never went back.
Oh, that's so sad. And you also you're a therapist for people that are not the victims, but the people that do domestic violence.
The perpetrators,
The
yes.
perpetrators.
The perpetrators of domestic violence. I've been doing that work since 2007, working in group setting. The majority of people, I'd say 95% of them, are court-ordered, so they don't have a choice. They either go
Yeah.
to see
They
me
must.
or they go to jail.
Right.
And believe it or not, they choose me.
Well.
So
Are you worse than Joe? Is that what you're saying?
it could be. I'm a tough customer.
That's good
I
then.
don't let them slide. You know,
That's
I mean,
good.
You should be telling them that they're not coddle them in a way, because what they're
Yeah.
doing is extremely wrong.
Sure, but what we've discovered is that a lot of those folks witnessed it as children too.
Yeah.
So it's generational. So it goes from parent to
Mm-hmm.
child, and then the child becomes a parent, and then it's a cycle, right? So my goal is for every person that comes through the program to break the cycle and learn new techniques and a different way of being, because they might not know a different way of being.
Yeah, they've
Sometimes
only
it's
seen
new.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely new to them.
I feel like domestic violence, it's also a bit normalized among social media. Because, for example, my friend, actually, no. Okay, I have many people, society, sometimes, they don't have a line between obsession and possession. Because, sometimes they like the fact that there's so much attention and, they're being, so-called, love bombed.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Sure.
And they like that. They fiend for it, but they realize that it's not a healthy way to interact with someone that you love so much.
Sure, and it's kind of like be getting used to things, like in a home where there was always chaos or fear or we call disorganized attachment style with primary caregivers. Maybe you didn't have a secure attachment with a parent, which means that you can count on them, you could trust them, because let's face it, our parents are the gateway to the world.
Yeah.
Right? We're born into this home, and we think that our home is the world.
Right.
And so depending upon that interaction is what we look for later, because good or bad, even if it feels bad, it's comfortable because it's familiar.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it creates that situation. So I've heard people say, oh, I met someone really nice, like so nice, such a cool guy, or she's such a cool girl, she's really awesome, but she's boring, or he's boring.
Like not like exciting or like
Yeah, they're not bringing
yeah.
chaos. The
Exactly,
chaos that they're
that's what
used
they
to.
want.
They're used to the toxicity.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're like, I want the spice. I want
Right.
the
Problems.
Am I gonna lose her?
Mhm.
No. Oh, I'm gonna lose him.
That's true.
What do I have to do? So then their waking moments are filled with, how do I keep this person interested,
Yeah.
or how do I get this person back?
Yeah.
And while they're doing that, their life is going by, and they're not investing time in other things, including themselves.
Right.
Or
So-
others. Like they just abandon everything for their partner.
Or their friends or their family.
Yeah,
Right, exactly right.
The push and pull cycle, right? For
the
anxious
push and pull cycle.
and avoidant attachment.
Exactly.
Can you give
right.
us more information on that? Like the attachment styles and how they develop?
So basically the ideal, and according to statistics, like maybe like 75, 80% of people have a secure attachment to some degree to a primary caregiver, right? But there's also the avoidant style, there's the ambivalent style, the disorganized style, which make up the other 20% of people. But these 20% tend to be pretty loud.
Like
in their-
very extreme, you mean?
Yeah, well, in relationships they can be very, very difficult because again,
Oh,
it whatever your attachment style, and actually recent research goes not just from what was your attachment style as in your childhood, but what is your attachment style in adulthood with relationships, which tends to be the same, right? That
Yeah.
transcends that time. And then when you become a parent, you instill this. So we go back to the generational, passing along.
Yeah.
So avoidant, people that are in the avoidant attachment style, they tend to be, oftentimes, distant. They don't trust others. They might be okay with themselves,
Yeah.
but they're very, they don't trust a lot.
There's like a wall between the person that they're trying to love and then themselves. And they
Yeah.
feel like they can't.
Yeah, it's hard for them to connect because
Yeah.
they can't really trust the person.
Mm-hmm.
They trust themselves, but they don't really trust the others. With the ambivalent style, there's an issue with like doubt and self-worth, right? And these folks usually end up being like codependent,
Mm-hmm.
where my happiness depends upon your happiness and your happiness. And if you're okay with us, then I'm okay.
Mhm.
But if something is not okay with us, then I need to make sure
That
that
it's
I
okay.
impose that so that you won't leave me.
Yeah.
So whereas an avoidant person might leave someone before they're left,
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
or they will cheat just in case they are cheated on. An ambivalent person will build their world around the person because as a child they didn't know what they were going to get, right? With the avoidant, the parent was distant, and they were like, well, whatever, I'll figure it out on my own, and then that's where they build their self-worth, which there is a positive there. There can be a positive. So not everything's negative,
Mhm.
but those folks would really benefit from therapy and introspection and things like that.
Yeah, like the avoidant attachment, it's where like they do things like ghosting and they don't want to just message the person back, and it's just like, why are they ghosting me? Like I want to know why. I want to solve these problems at this
Yeah.
instant. And avoidant just like needs space.
Yeah.
Right?
Ghosting is a more recent phenomenon. I mean, I'm 52 years old, so my birth was not on Facebook.
Yeah.
I encountered the internet, in the early 90s for the first time, and much less, like I had a beeper in high school, in college.
Oh,
I
like
had
the egg?
Oh yeah. No, that's
Oh.
a Tamagotchi.
No.
Have you seen like a pager?
Yeah, like
It's
a
really-
pa-
like
yeah,
have
a
you seen
pager.
in like medical TV shows how they have the little beep thing? Like
It goes
how-
beep, beep, beep,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
you
yeah,
check
like-
it, and it tells you the number that's calling. Yes, I know, this is ancient
Oh.
technology. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, Tamagotchis are actually really good for people with ambivalent attachment style.
Because they always like have something like that's
Yeah,
there
it's
for
always
them.
there.
They're taking
like,
care of
That's
it.
so, that's so normal.
I mean,
Aw.
I don't mean to laugh at those things. Some people suffer tremendously with these
Yeah.
things, right? But there are, in the meantime, I think that things like emotional support animals and support groups and stuff like that would be very helpful. The problem is do these folks know
That
that they have an ambivalent support attachment style? Or we haven't even talked about the disorganized, where that's like a home with abuse. Sometimes it's not neglect. Those people sometimes would be like, I would prefer neglect. I would prefer being ignored than being
then
abused or
yeah.
confused. Sometimes
Yeah.
these are children of people that suffer from mental illness. Sometimes these are people that have parents that suffer from addiction or alcoholism or something like this, where there's domestic violence, and those folks typically become emotionally numb.
Yeah.
They don't feel their feelings. They're not okay with feeling their feelings. They'd rather just like push it all down. And then they typically, because regardless of what attachment style you are, you're still a social creature and you're still a sexual creature, right? And people want closeness to some degree, right? But what they do is they'll go out and find another emotionally unavailable person so that there's no potential for connection and true hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And these are people that might sleep around, like, one night stands, because they still have physical needs, but their emotional part is. So intimacy, which I think is an important point.
Yeah.
The people often say that, they want intimacy and they confuse intimacy with sex. And sex can be intimate, but it could also just be physical.
Yeah, like no emotion behind it. You're just doing it just to please yourself.
It's a physical act.
Yeah.
It's, and there could be a relationship between two people where they don't have sex and they're very intimate with each other. Because what is intimacy? It's the ability to show yourself, and not naked in the physical sense necessarily, but also being vulnerable. That's a perfect word. And I think that men, especially in the Hispanic culture, I mean, I could talk about that because my parents are Cuban. And I've lived in Miami most of my life, and most of my clients are Hispanic. I run English and Spanish groups. I can tell you that in Hispanic culture, sadly, the term machismo, doesn't lend itself for openness.
Right.
It's like hide
masculine,
I'm strong, I'm impervious. Hide your weaknesses, because if they see your weakness, that's where they're going to attack you, right? And that sounds like not a secure attachment.
Yeah.
Even though they might have it, the culture lends itself for that.
Right.
And being vulnerable is just to like actually be more brave with anything, because you're brave enough to show your emotional capabilities and like what harms you. But you're like, hey, this is it. And then like, this is what I'm showing to the world, but I'm okay with it. I've dealt with it.
Right. And so it takes courage to show your vulnerabilities. I think that that's a sign of courage and masculinity. To be able to say,
exactly,
hey, when you do certain things, it hurts me. Versus saying, let me not tell her that it hurts because then she'll attack me. There.
Right.
By the way, if you are with a partner who attacks your vulnerabilities, run for the hills.
Yeah.
But also, I think like those traits also go with like narcissism, right? Like narcissists, they just do not want to have any. They're more avoidant. Well, there's actually two narcissists, right? There's I have it right here actually. So basically, there's the grandiose narcissists, which are the overconfident, the dominant, the machismo is what he's saying. And then there's the vulnerable narcissists. They're like the anxious attachment style. And they both are just very like, they want to control you and your actions, and just they don't validate your feelings.
Sure. Now let's not diagnose, because narcissism is a diagnosis.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a personality disorder. It's a personality disorder is different from a mental disorder in a traditional sense, in that it doesn't have a neurotransmitter balance problem. It's about your personality, right? And I don't want to say that every machista is a narcissist, because they're not. People can have narcissistic personality traits without being a narcissist, right? I think that every now and then I have behaviors that I think, damn, that was narcissistic of me. I shouldn't do that. That's not cool. Now, therein lies one of the signs of a true narcissist: the inability to self-reflect. They think, oh, what I did was perfectly fine because what I did serves my needs. And they might not be thinking that way, but unconsciously, that's how they approach it. And in a relationship, a person with narcissistic personality disorder can be very frustrating because the recipient, the partner, might think, "Oh my gosh, look what they did for me," and that's a sign that they truly love me and care about me. Where in the other person's mind, they're thinking, "This is how I kept this thing that I want in place."
Right.
And that is how like domestic violence perpetrators keep their victims. Like they leave them like with like little things like, oh, like I did this for you, so I still care about you, but
Right.
I still hurt you physically, emotionally, all the ways mentally.
Psychologically,
Mhm.
sexually. I mean, there's different types of abuse, right?
Yeah.
And not all of them are illegal, by the way.
Yeah.
Somebody could say, "Oh, you know what? Like, you've gained so much weight. Like, I don't think I'm sexually attracted to you anymore because of look how you, right?" And if that person that's receiving that message calls the police and says, "Hey, they told me this,"
Yeah.
the cops
It's
will
not
say,
Too bad.
"Oh,
if that's your problem.
dump
That's
that
not
person.
right,
Don't
like-
call us.
Mhm.
We can't. What's the charge?"
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
We were watching The Waitress yesterday, actually, and then
Yes.
do you want to like say like basically there was a guy and she was telling the wife like, "Oh, I only did this nice thing for you because I wanted to have sex with you. I want to get laid."
Right. Like, okay, so The Waitress is basically a musical, and it's about this woman who's a waitress. She bakes pies and stuff
Mhm.
and works at this restaurant. And she ends up getting pregnant, but she lives in like an abusive household. And she has to stay because she's pregnant, and
I've
that's
seen
all
it.
that she has. You've seen
Yeah.
it.
They
Yes.
played it at the Miracle Theater
Mm.
on Miracle Mile in Coral Gables
So,
last
yeah.
year. I did see it. Yeah, the pies is what.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
pies.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were actually watching it last night, like in preparation. But
Yeah.
Very well
basically,
done. I mean,
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
it's really good. And there's a part where she's like talking to the husband, and he's like, "Oh, I only," because he was like, "Oh, your pies aren't that good,"
Mhm.
and she's like, "You used to tell me they're amazing." He was like, "Yeah, that was only so I could get laid."
Mhm.
And it's like, oh,
And then 5 seconds after, he literally tries to hit her, and then she's like, "I'm pregnant." And then like when she's pregnant, she realizes that's how I'm gonna be stuck with this man.
right.
Like we didn't finish half of the play,
Yeah.
but I assume that's why.
And he took her money, and he would like
Right.
not
Ooh.
Yeah.
work, and it
Yeah.
was pretty well done.
Mhm.
And I think that's a story that is repeated, all the time.
Yeah.
Sadly, and has been for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I often tell the guys, it's been a man's world for pretty much every
Ever.
ever. Yeah, exactly right. And I tell them, look, the pendulum is swinging towards equality,
Mhm.
and we're uncomfortable with it as a group. I mean, obviously, some men are welcoming it.
Right.
In fact, I often try to get them to understand that they have a mother, that they have sisters, that they have women in their lives that are worthy of respect and all these things. And how does it make their partner any different? Oh, because she did this to me and she did that to me. She did. Then talk to her about it. And if it doesn't work out, then end it.
Right. You shouldn't be
Yeah.
resorting to any sort of
Yeah.
abuse.
Exactly. Nobody has to be with anyone.
Right.
Exactly.
Nobody is indebted to anyone.
Mhm.
Nobody owns anybody, even though a lot of our Spanish songs say things like quiero ser tu dueño and all this stuff about like
Ew.
ownership. And it's
Right.
like, I don't know.
Okay.
These are the songs that I would hear in the back seat while my mom was driving
Yeah.
to Hialeah. And I would hear the songs and I'd be like, oh, okay. And then I grew up and I was like,
That's not
dueño,
normal.
or
What are they talking about?
owning people? Like, what is this? I mean, I thought we had
Yeah.
abolished slavery.
And also in The Waitress, and also like wait, actually, I mean arranged marriages, I respect the culture. It's just that sometimes it ends up in domestic violence. But in The Waitress, there was another relationship where there was like love bombing evident. It was basically a guy who was talking to this girl who's also a waitress, the friend of the original.
Oh, yeah.
And you remember, he was
Yeah.
like, I love you so much. Like,
Yeah. I
like,
love
I
you
just
means you're
met
never,
you.
ever,
Over the
ever getting
top.
rid of me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was over the top. He
Mhm.
was the best actor.
I like him. He's my favorite.
I
And
like
no one's
him.
like,
Yeah.
he's creepy.
I mean, I'm sure whoever was acting when, like, where you watched it was different than our YouTube slime tutorial video. But it's funny,
YouTube.
on YouTube, you can watch musicals and, like, that have been like the pro shot of them, but they're like not supposed to be on YouTube. So they're under a title of like slime tutorial or something stupid. So
Oh.
yeah,
So
so
like,
they don't
they'll
get caught.
Oh, yeah.
So
I
if you
love
ever want to
YouTube.
watch a musical,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, they seek people that can do that because that character has to be over the top. And,
right?
Mhm.
you know, yeah. And it was supposed to be funny, right? But yeah, when it's to that extreme, like you feel like this person is doing so much that it could create like a feeling of discomfort because
Yeah,
when am I going to be expected to do the same in return?
right.
You know what I mean? And I don't want to make anybody paranoid, right? Like I've said in class, like every semester I give the domestic violence, dating violence talk.
Yes.
And then in October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, you know, they've invited me to give a talk here for also Mental Health Week and stuff like that. You know, and I always mention how, you know, people you have to try to become a whole person yourself before you go out and
Right.
try to, you know, find someone and be whole as an individual, right? The best you can, right? Because otherwise you're trying to find someone who's going to fill in the gaps for you, right? And that could lead to certain issues and certain problems, you know,
Mhm.
because the best is when two people who are working on themselves and feel confident in themselves can find each other and decide, I want to be with this person. I enjoy this person's company, not I need this person.
Right.
I need
I
someone.
depend on them financially. Yeah.
Or for anything really.
Yeah.
I need someone,
Mhm.
anyone. It's like, no.
Right. It's like, no, you don't need
Yeah.
anyone.
Yeah, it's like,
Exactly.
you know.
Or like people who have been in like long-term relationships and then they get out and they feel empty and they just want to fill the void and find someone else.
the rebound.
Yeah, like
Right,
hook up and
rebound.
stuff.
Yeah, like it's basketball.
Yeah.
Like people aren't basketballs, you know. Yeah, the rebound effect, that's problematic because you never have time to look at yourself and say what went wrong,
Mhm.
you know, or what went right, or what could I do differently, or let me heal from this, you know.
Yeah, just
It's
no
like,
time to reflect.
Mhm.
right. So we have a saying in Spanish which I really hate. I mean, I don't hate's a strong word, but I really hate this. It's un clavo saca otro. You ever heard that before?
No, I'm not Cuban.
So, well, you know what a nail is.
yeah.
Then you'll get it.
Okay.
One nail replaces another.
Oh yeah.
People aren't nails. You don't go get a boyfriend or girlfriend at Home Depot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people aren't
I mean,
nails.
You
I guess
could.
you
Oh
might.
no, I'm lost. Someone help me. No, I'm just kidding.
The damsel in distress in
Yes.
aisle 3. But you know, one nail replaces another. Like people aren't nails.
Right.
You know, people aren't objects to be used for your needs.
Mhm.
You know, I think that the best is when people find each other and they enjoy each other and they want to be together and they want to share time with each other. Not like you must hang out with me.
Right.
It's Friday
You
night.
will go home with me.
and you
Fridays
will.
are for this. Like
Right.
we must
Yeah.
do this because
Yeah.
we're
Right.
together.
And everything in your world must include me now. You know, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that.
That's why like love bombing. It's like people might think, oh, you know, they always want to be with me. It's so cute. They adore me. They love me. All these compliments, whatever. But they can do that and then make you so attached to the person that they just leave, and then you're like, what the heck happened? Like, what did I do? It was
Right.
something personal. It was something that they purposely did to do.
Yeah, they create a need where there was no need.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So they provide something that maybe you didn't even look for.
Mm-hmm.
And then you become kind of addicted to it a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
like a
and you're
drug.
like, yeah. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna take this away now.
Mm-hmm.
And then the person's like, oh, where did it go?
Yeah.
Well, what do I have to do to get it back? And then that's where people start losing a little bit of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you start to lose a little bit of yourself. And sometimes you lose all of you,
Right.
you know, and then when it ends, if you're lucky enough for it to end, I mean, I've met people that have been married 50 years, you know,
Yeah.
and people say, oh, congratulations, that's awesome. And then like one of the people will like look away and be like, ugh.
Not awesome.
We're still married, that's a fact. But happily,
Right.
I mean, I knew this lady that she'd been married to her husband for I don't know how long, decades, right? And he would get up like this is when I was a kid. He would get up to go to the bathroom, and she would go like this.
Oh my god.
And I'm thinking to myself, how long have you lived this way? Like
Wow.
having this animosity
Right, yeah.
towards this person, and you know, I mean, I was a kid. I didn't know like anything, but I remember that. It's awful.
Yeah.
You know, that's I would feel terrible if I got up and went to the bathroom and my wife was like, you know, while
Right.
behind my
Yeah.
back.
That's supposed to be your wife.
I'm like, look,
You're
if
supposed to
you,
love them, I fear.
Yeah.
if we have an issue, let's talk about it. You know,
Mhm.
let's resolve it. But you know, we've come a long way, I think, in
Yeah.
awareness,
Mhm.
in understanding, you know, that gender roles are not absolutes. They worked for a while because they worked in our evolution. They worked because women give birth. Men do not. Men hunt better than women do. So they go hunt. Women stay behind at the camp to breastfeed, to care for the children, to care for the sick or the elderly, right? And that worked for a while. But we live in a society now where women can go out and hunt mammoth too. The dollars, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And men, I mean, they can't give birth, but they can stay home with the child and give it breast milk from a bottle. Like,
Right.
so, you know, we have to evolve with our times too. And there are still men that I've heard not that long ago say things like, well, I work, my wife doesn't work. And I tell them, how many children do you have? And they say, 3 kids. And I go, do you have a maid who takes care of the kids? No, they stay home with their mom. And I go, that's not a job. That's not a full-time job, a 24/7 job.
Yeah.
Because if the child gets sick in the middle of the night, it's not the dad that's going to get up, especially not that dad who says those things.
Right.
It's the mom that's going to get up.
Mhm.
So her job, she doesn't clock out
Ever.
ever. Well, maybe when they're
When
18,
they
but
move out.
Yeah.
maybe even then because they're worried about the kids, whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, so I try to educate these men so that they understand that, you know, they might not be getting a paycheck, but they're not working.
Right.
I feel like we shouldn't undermine like the abilities of like having a job. Like women should be able to have their own independence and their own financial support without a man, because you never know what a man can do. That's like I feel like that's how I feel, because if you have like a family and
Mhm.
you are suffering from domestic violence, which is a very sudden type of manipulation that is going to happen like suddenly, it won't be like a gradual thing, then you should have your own financial support and be able to live your life independently from a man.
And
Or
that's what
not just
happened a
saying that
lot.
men are like, you know.
Right,
You know
but
what I
that
mean.
happened a lot also, you know, in the depression, the Great Depression, and you know, some of the generations after that where, you know, you were lucky if one of you had a job.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Much less both people, you know, but nowadays, you know, and we talk about men and women, but we could also talk about like, you know, a gay or lesbian or LGBTQ relationships, you know, they're very similar.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a high incidence of domestic violence in those relationships as well.
Oh yeah, you had told me the statistic that
Yeah, we learned like lesbians are like actually the most like ability
Yeah.
to
that
have domestic.
highest statistic of domestic
Yeah,
violence.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, and actually, you know, I've seen several cases with the perpetrator was a female who had been in a relationship with another woman, and yeah, so that exists in all relationships. In fact,
Mhm.
this transcends, you know, identity. It transcends socioeconomic status. It transcends race. You know, women can also be domestically violent. I mean, that's
Yeah.
something I think that needs to be mentioned
Mhm.
also,
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
because what I've noticed is that a woman might hit a man and the man will take it
Hmm.
Yes, they like tease them and they like hit them like playfully, but it's not
until
a good
one
thing.
day
Yeah.
where, you know, when the man responds, obviously, because
Mm-hmm.
men typically are stronger, they can do major damage,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So what I tell my groups, and you've probably heard me say this in class, don't do these things that are abusive, but don't allow them either.
Mhm.
Because if you allow them, then the violence that you're shutting the door on at the front of the house gets in through the back.
Yeah.
And
Because,
if you don't set boundaries, like they'll continue to push the boundaries until you just can't stop them anymore. So setting boundaries is really important.
That's one of the the main signs of domestic violence. Like, they don't respect your boundaries. And that's like, if you don't, like, for example, saying like, I don't appreciate you telling me that, like, I'm dumb sometimes when I don't get things right. And they continue to cross over that boundary. That's a sign that they're just not the person that will respect what you believe in or how you feel about yourself.
That's a good point that, some of the early signs,
Yeah.
because like I said earlier, I don't want to make anybody paranoid. Because, if you go out with somebody for a month and they're love bombing you, that could be that they really like you.
Right.
And they're just like very giving people and they're very, whatever. But it could be a sign that they're problematic, right? So how do you know the difference? It's not going to be on how they treat you, right? A lot of it might be how they treat other people when you're around or the stories they tell you, right? Like you go to a restaurant and they're a giant jerk to the waiter, or they're in traffic and they're road raging and, screaming profanities to other people, or everybody in their life is an enemy because they can't get along with anyone, or they have a ton of really awful stories to say about all of their exes, and they're the
That's
victim.
a good sign, actually. Yeah.
I mean, they're the victim. All of my exes are crazy. They're all crazy. And when you're my ex, I'll tell someone else how crazy you were. And I'm not going to say that, right? They're not going to say that. But, I think the sign of a mature person, and maturity is a part of this too, right? A sign of a mature person is, maybe at some point they'll share something necessary, but to like badmouth like their previous partners, I don't think that's a positive sign.
No.
Especially like on your first date.
Oh my gosh.
My goodness.
It's like, and there she is at the restaurant.
Yeah. I feel like
She's stalking me. I told you she was crazy.
Well, maybe I'd
that's
believe
like
them in that
you.
situation if they were stalking.
Yeah, you might.
I kind of believe you,
You know.
actually. Maybe you're right.
Like there with the binoculars. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, you were right about that one.
That also relates to like the show You, like the guy
Oh
who
my
stalks
gosh.
the women. Everyone likes that show.
And like how
Have you watched it?
Never.
you
Really?
okay, so
You.
yes,
But not
it's
like
on
you,
Netflix.
like you. It's like a
It is
you.
really good, but it's from the perspective of this guy who stalks women. Like he becomes obsessed with a specific person that he sees, and he stalks them, and like
Just
he ends
random
up
people
yes
that he sees
that
on the
he
street.
just
Yeah.
right he just or he has one interaction with them, and like he falls in love with them, and he basically tries to make their lives so much better to the point where he's killing other people that are like messing up their lives, and it ends up leading him to killing them when they learn the truth about him. And it's just obsession, and this show has made so many people fall in love with this main character and obsessed with people like
Stalkers.
that, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not attractive when someone
No.
stalks you and kills the rest of your family. Okay, guys, that's a
Yeah.
really big point.
In fact, 70% of women who are killed in a domestic violence situation were stalked first in 70% of the cases.
Wow.
So 7 out of 10 women who were killed in the U.S. by a current or former partner were first stalked, 7 out of 10 times.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a bad sign. And
Yeah.
stalking has several, especially nowadays, like, the run-of-the-mill stalking back in the day was like the binoculars and all that stuff. Nowadays,
Now
there's
online.
AirPods that people put in your cars, apps
The air
that put in your
tags.
phone, the air tags, yeah. Not the pause. Let's hear. You listen to your music.
Music.
You can
Hey, they might
AirPods.
turn that into.
You can connect them and put like your phone somewhere, and then go to another room, and you can listen from your phone.
like
your
like a little
AirPods on.
device like to leave.
Mhm.
Oh my
So they
god,
can hear
people are
your,
crazy.
they can hear your conversations.
Yeah.
I had a gentleman years ago who he told me that that's how he got his case, because he installed something on his wife's phone and he heard a conversation between her and a lover, which I'm not condoning infidelity. I
Mhm.
mean, whatever, that relationship should have ended.
Right.
But what I tell the guys is like, look, someone's unfaithful to you, I will tell you what my father told me. And I was blessed to have a father that gave me an amazing example, and he was a gentleman.
Mhm.
He said, if your partner cheats on you, you dust your feet, you turn around, you walk away, and you never come back. you don't beat them to a pulp or
Yeah. Don't
threaten
try
to
to fight
kill
back.
them
Right.
and he said to me, he goes, because if you do something stupid, and it would be stupid, that night you're in jail and she's with the other dude.
Right.
I think to be the bigger person is just to not try to like get like at something like revengeful. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
Yeah.
You just have to accept it.
Exactly. It
It's
happens, and then
tempting. I mean,
don't
I
like
get
try
it.
to cross
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
I think we all get it, right?
Yeah.
Like we understand, like being cheated on sucks, right?
Right.
And it hurts, and you would want, in that moment, but
Prove something.
yeah, but
Prove something to them. Like, you shouldn't have done that. But
Yeah.
right? Like
But hitting is never the solution.
no, absolutely not. Like I'm, who is it? Carrie Underwood? Yeah, she has that song where she destroys the guy's truck.
I
You ever heard
shut my
this?
keys into the
Oh,
side
is that
of
what
it.
it's about? Domestic,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
oh, cheating.
He cheats on
Yeah.
her,
Oh.
and then she jacks up his truck. Like she destroys it. Like she puts she dug
King
her
is-
name
yeah.
into his leather seats or something.
Yeah.
And then I'm
So
thinking to
weird.
myself, okay, that's great advice, So that night, the dude calls the cops and says, she put her name on my leather seats. So I wonder who it is. They go and arrest her. She goes to jail, probably gets on probation, probably has to pay back everything she did to the truck. And that guy is in bed with that girl that he cheated on her with that very night. And he gets a new truck. So I think music, media, like we've gotten a lot of bad messaging.
Too much accepting of like cheating, all these things.
And of violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and of just, we've gotten a lot of bad messaging. I mean, years ago, a student showed me a video of, was it Rihanna?
Oh yeah, Rihanna. She got beat up by her husband.
Was it?
No, it was Rihanna. Yeah.
Okay, but there's a video.
A video of her.
I think that she's a music video where she's with this guy and they like beat each other up, and then later on they get together and they talk about how the makeup sex is amazing. And it's like, these are two like, loose cannons,
Right.
that need a lot of help, and they're very hurt and very damaged, and they think that the only way that they're going to have a fulfilling sexual life is if they have physical violence
Mm-hmm.
days before, or the build up to the
Yeah.
you want to build up, listen to trance music. Don't get in a domestically violent relationship.
And then go back to it.
Yeah, and when the student showed me this video, I was horrified. I'm sorry, Rihanna, if it's not you, don't sue me. I think it's Rihanna, I'm not sure, but it was like a very like graphic video where there's like obvious violence between them, and then like this really like hot sexual scene, and it's like, yeah, no thanks, I'll pass.
There's like a saying called social media killed romance, and I feel like it does reflect on what you're saying. Like things are being way too normalized in society, like anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, domestic violence, the makeup sex. It's not okay to have all these chaotic and toxic
Yeah.
things in a relationship.
Yeah, absolutely not. But people are looking for purpose and meaning,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's like I said, I did an episode on that on my YouTube channel. And sometimes people think that the purpose and meaning is going to be found in someone else, and if that person goes away for whatever reason, their purpose and meaning is lost. I mean, we've even had people threaten to kill themselves if someone leaves them. And I don't think anyone should mean that much to anyone else. If anyone is ever told, if you leave me, I will kill myself, my recommendation is, don't tell them, go ahead, I want to see you do it. Like, no, I don't think that's a good idea.
No.
But what you can do is say, okay, we'll see if we can figure something out, and try to like walk them off the ledge, and then tell their parents, their friends. I mean, don't put them on blast on social media,
Yeah.
but like tell like trusted people in their lives, listen, this is what's happening. No one should suffer that abuse, because that's psychological abuse. If you leave me, I'll kill myself.
Yeah.
Like forcing.
Now
them
you
to
feel like
stay.
guilt for
And you're
yeah,
trapped
exactly.
in a prison that has no bars, because you think, I can't leave this person because if I leave this person, they'll kill themselves. I don't want to be the reason why someone killed themselves.
Right.
So, tell the parents, tell the friends, tell people
Mm-hmm.
that not everybody, but maybe 2 or 3 like trusted people that could come in and intervene and maybe have like an intervention
Right.
and say, look, I'm worried about this person. And if you really think that they're going to harm themselves, I think it's 988. It's like
Oh,
911.
like the phone number?
Yeah, 988 is like a suicide prevention
Oh, the suicide.
hotline or something.
Yeah. But that's why I feel like it's so important. Like, love yourself before you love anybody else. You have to find that love within yourself. Know why you are lovable. Know
Know
why.
your worth.
Exactly. Romanticize yourself before anybody else. Because then you're just going to, like, feed off of their attention, not what you give on yourself.
Sure, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's tough when your attachment style is not a secure
Secure love,
attachment,
yeah.
right? Because if your parents loved you unconditionally. Now, I will say one last thing about the attachments.
Mhm.
Sometimes a securely attached person is victimized by someone who has some of these other attachment styles and could be a domestically violent or unstable because they're naive. They don't they never saw like any
Avoidant.
problematic things. They were very loved and they want to give what they have to the person that they met.
Mm-hmm.
And then they fall into like a trap. So I don't think the secure attached person is going to be much of a perpetrator, but they could end up being a victim
Yeah.
because they're like, man, my life is awesome. And this person is really cool. And I want them to have an awesome life too. And I want to save them from their misery. And relationships are not places to save people.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want to get saved, go to church. We know what happens to saviors. Jesus was crucified,
Yeah.
right? So don't be a savior in a relationship. If the person needs help, let them get a therapist. Let them find a psychiatrist or help or whatever. But you can't be someone's therapist in a relationship.
It's not your job to like emotionally be a therapist over
You can't
somebody.
fix someone with a
Exactly.
relationship.
You can't change them.
It's
They're
wrong.
as they are.
Yeah.
In fact, you might solidify the problem
Right.
even further. So but I really feel sad for like a lot of like the younger generation, like you guys. No offense, because you're bombarded with things that I and my generation and before were not bombarded with.
Mhm.
Like you guys are constantly being fed these underlying beliefs about things online because you're more connected online and seeing all this stuff, and it does leave like a seed or a doubt in your mind about things, right? Whereas it could happen to older people too, right? But we've moved past a certain developmental stage. It could still cause problems, absolutely. But like I said, you guys were born where your birth might have been on Facebook. I don't know. Mine definitely was not. But I feel like young people have to really guard their minds of the messaging and put every message to the test. Like just because you take your boyfriend's cell phone into the bathroom and lock the door,
The trend.
if he goes nuts,
Oh my
he's
goodness.
cheating. No, he might be really good at deleting stuff.
Yeah,
And
he
so
talked about that in class.
So
I
he's
remember.
like watching TV. He's like watching the You or whatever that show. And then he's like, "Oh, she took my phone. Oh, I deleted everything. I don't care."
Yeah.
Right.
And then she comes out, "Oh, baby, you really love me. You didn't go crazy when I took your phone and went into the bathroom." He's like, "I got another phone over here. Like,
My cheating phone and my normal phone.
just don't get that one." But like that meme, when I saw it, I was like horrified. I was like, "Oh my God."
It's too normalized. Like
How many girls are gonna, or
I've
men
seen that way too
too,
many times.
Yeah.
are gonna run into the bathroom with their
Men do
partners?
that to women?
They
That's
might.
Oh well, yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
I'm a young guy and I think my girlfriend's cheating,
Yeah.
I might say like, well, if it works for women, it works for men too, right? So let me just grab my girlfriend's phone and run to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Right.
first of all, it's disrespectful to take someone's phone.
Yeah.
It's your phone. Having people look through your phone and give me your phone. I want to see what you're up to. If you don't trust me, we can't be together. Period.
Exactly.
Now, if there's a trust issue that I've helped to create, let's work on it. But to have someone have access to your phone 24/7 whenever they want, that's disrespectful and a sign of a lack of trust, which is essential. Trust is essential in a relationship. Without it, there's nothing.
Both parties should just have like their own independence in every way.
I think
Right.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Two
absolutely.
independent people who choose to be together.
Exactly.
Correct. Lovely way of putting it.
Exactly.
But yeah, we're
I think we're gonna end it right here. Thank
Pastime.
you so
Yes.
much for your knowledge.
Oh gosh,
Yes.
yeah, I'm so grateful that you asked me to come do this because, I came from a home where my mom was abused by my stepfather, and my father, my real father, was such a gentleman. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
He's such a gentleman, and he taught me so many different things from what I saw from my stepfather. So I was blessed to be able to see both and to understand, this is not okay. This is the way to do things, right? So I've taken that to heart and made it kind of like my life's mission to help to spread awareness about this, because my mother was almost killed in a domestic violence incident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom, she like had a podcast where she would inform people on domestic violence as well.
Your
But
mom?
she wasn't like a victim of it, but she was informing people.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'd
And
like
now
to-
look at me. I mean,
I'd like
us.
to check it
Us,
out.
yes.
Yes, but it was like in the 1996, like very, not old, but like, just,
A while ago.
Where they had like those
Temporary.
big things you would put like a big thing, it would spin. Like
no,
one
it
of
was
those.
like a radio, like on the, like
Oh,
the, no,
it wasn't
not
that long
visual.
ago. Oh.
Yeah.
I would
Sadly.
love to hear it, please.
Yes,
Yeah,
of
send it to me. I would
course.
love to hear your mom's work. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Very cool.
So, guys, I'm going to leave a phone number here for domestic violence hotline. It's 1-800-500-1119. Text STAR, or you can text STAR to 88788, or use the National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-799-SAFE, SAFE. Thank you so much. If you're suffering, please, what's the tips for like when someone's like in a...
If someone's experiencing.
Oh,
Yeah.
they should
Domestic
definitely call the
violence.
88788 to devise a safety plan, because a lot of times the domestic violence that ends someone's life happens after the relationship has ended, right? So devising a safety plan for people who are married or living with their partner, separating an amount of cash to be able to use cash, because sometimes the abuser will like disconnect the cards or disable the cards or whatever it is, and have somewhere that they can go to, and go to the police and get a restraining order if you have an incident of violence that you could provide. Now, a piece of paper is not going to stop a bullet, but there are some people that are like, yeah, I'm not going to go to jail.
Right.
So sometimes a restraining order is
Necessary.
something.
That's
Yeah,
everything.
that way they can't contact you via phone, 500 feet, social media, third party. They can't even send a carrier pigeon or smoke signals.
Right.
Yeah, they would get arrested immediately. But devising a safety plan would be a good idea, and calling like 88788, they can help you with that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys.
Shall we begin?